I'll leave that to both the Pauls, and I'll just get back to the video. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to today's video. And you know what? Like most people, you kind of like shift through different guitars. Certain guitars are your favorites at different times. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just make some of these videos wherever I'm just really vibing on a few guitars. And that's what we're going to talk about. This is actually an idea from my wife. She was like, you should just do like these are my favorites at the moment. It meets all the criteria. Nerd out about guitars, play random things on guitars, make video about random things played on guitars while nerding out. Boom. Done. So that's what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there that I'm not including my Les Pauls in the favorites. You guys know they're my favorites. This is my favorite guitar that I own. The gold top's right here. I figured I'd start with these guys, but I'm going to focus on 3 guitars that I have been just playing so much lately and have been incredibly inspiring. Heyo, you guys can of course check out my free guitar course if you want to. It's linked down below in the description. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Come hang out with me. And let me know what guitars are your go-tos right now. I know it changes, but what are the ones that you are digging the most right now? Now, I'm sure this is going to be no surprise because I have been using this a lot in a lot of videos, but this Strat. Now, something that was a little bit confusing to people, what I said in another video was that I said I haven't owned a real Strat in years. And like, but what about the tobacco burst one? Well, that is actually my wife's Strat. And I tend not to play it too much because, well, mainly it's not my guitar, I'm pretty rough on guitars. I don't really try to go out of my way to keep them nice, I guess. If I'm really feeling inspired in the moment, I don't mind getting a little bit rough with the guitar. Hence the scratches on a lot of my guitars from picking. And this guitar has been so inspiring. Such a nice guitar. Some of you have been asking about this guitar a lot. This is the guitar I got from my buddy Austin, Trogley's Guitar Channel. We did a bunch of videos together. I have a few more to post actually about it. But this is simply a 2005, I think it's 2005. Yeah, 2005 American Standard Strat. So if you're familiar with modern Fenders, they're not called Standards anymore. I think they're called Pros maybe? Or Sear? I don't know what they're called. But this is an old Standard. And my initial idea with this guitar was I was going to get it and upgrade everything on it. Because I was like, this stuff might not be the best. I'll put new tuners, new pickups, all this stuff on it. And what has happened is what I was worried would happen is I've really fallen in love with the guitar the way that it is. So unfortunately, I've decided not to pursue that idea of switching stuff because I'm kind of like, I don't know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think the guitar, like I said, once I learned how the guitar kind of worked, I've just been so inspired by it. And then I kind of had to ask myself, I'm like, do I want it to be any different? Like, what don't I like about it? And the answer is nothing really. I thought about maybe changing out the block because it just has that real small little zinc block in it that the Strats came with back then. I had a 2003 Strat that had one of those in there. But other than that, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I want to change on it. Like, it stays in tune really well. I think the pickups sound amazing. Like I said, the more I just had to get used to how the pickups work. The pickups are very bright. So I have to work with the tone knob a little bit more than what I do on other guitars. But they sound just the way that I want a Strat to sound, very glassy. Position 4 sounds great. It's that true Strat tone. Or position 2 gives you the, again, like such an iconic Strat sound. It just kind of does everything that I want a Strat to do. And one thing that I have done to it is I lock the tremolo down. It's got the 3 strings, but I, basically block it off so the trim doesn't work anymore. I just think Strats sound better that way. Some people will obviously disagree because obviously the floating trim is also a huge part of the Strat sound. I just think the way the guitar like shakes and resonates and all that stuff just is best when it's blocked down. I'm not really a tremolo guy, and it's not something I miss, not having. But it's just a bare bones kind of guitar. And like I said, I just found myself reaching for it all the time. I started on Strat or Strat style guitar, and my heart's always going to be in Strats. But, it's just such a great feeling guitar. I did take the finish off the back of the neck. It was pretty glossy. You can kind of see up here. I'm not sure if the cameras will pick that up or not. But this is pretty glossy. And I sanded all the finish off of it. And that really changed the guitar too. I made it feel so much better. It was kind of sticky before with the lacquer, and I sanded all of that off. I just used 800 grit and 1000 grit sandpaper. There's probably a better way to do it because I don't know what I'm doing, but it just feels great now. It's perfect the way that it is. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna mod it. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave good at good and not try to make it better because you might make it worse. Now, what guitar could be next? It's right here. Should I show you or should I just talk about it? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play it. That's what I'm gonna do. It's this one. So I'm sure no surprise to you guys. This is my Friedman Vintage T. So if you didn't know it, I see a lot of comments that I didn't know Friedman made guitars. They do, and they make amazing guitars. These guitars are made in conjunction with Friedman and, of course, Grover Jackson. Grover Jackson being, my favorite luthier of all time. He's made some of my favorite guitars ever in history. And I just, I absolutely fell in love with this guitar from the moment I got it. From the second I opened up the case, and my hand felt this neck, I was just like, oh, whoa. And I've talked about in other videos how this guitar is oddly, just extremely resonant. It resonates almost as if it was like a semi-hollow or something. And it's just, I don't know, there's just something about this guitar. It has a beautiful maple neck on it. You can actually see the back of it. I'll do close-ups of the guitars. There's some nice flame on the back of the neck. It's actually a bird's eye maple board that's on it. So it's a two-piece neck, so you don't have a skunk stripe. It is relic. I've never owned a heavy relic guitar before. I know it's a popular debate amongst people in the comments, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, my thought is, who cares? If it sounds good, it is good. I don't really care too much about oh, is it relic? Is it real? Is not? I never try to fool anybody. Like when someone asks is that actually beat up or is it a relic? I'm like, it's a relic. I've never had one before, and I saw the reason why I even got a relic on this guitar was because the picture that I saw of one was relic, and I looked at it and I'm like, I don't even care that it's not old like it might look like it is. I want to play that guitar, and that really spoke to me about the fact of, it doesn't matter if it's relic or not. Some people, if you want your guitar to look new, order one that looks new, I don't think there's any reason to dog on someone who likes this. Because all I know is that this guitar, I look at it and it makes me want to play it. And then I play it, I'm like, ooh, you even better than you look. And it's an incredible guitar. Like I said, double P90s. This is the first guitar I ever had, true P90s in. And as many of you guys also know that, the P90s have been a game changer for me because I didn't think they would be that different than a humbucker or a traditional single coil, and man was I wrong. These are, just turning into my favorite thing. My gold top, which is right here, also loaded with P90s, and it's just oh my god, boy was I wrong about them not being different, because they're so different. It's such an angry sounding guitar. It makes me play, at least attempt to play. The guitar does its job just fine. Now, whether I relay this information in my hands or not is a different story. That's my fault. I really dig in when I'm playing this guitar. There's so much like slap to the guitar. It's like the notes just bounce back at you. I really, really love it. And honestly, I've played it so much. You can see where I have been using and abusing this thing. Really, really, just hours and hours have been put on this guitar. And everyone who I know who's gotten one of these has said the same thing about it. It's an alder body. Like I said, maple neck. These are the Friedman P90s. So I actually swapped out the P90s that were in my gold top. It had a Duncan Antiquity in the bridge. And I really didn't like the way that sounded. And I put one of these Friedman classic P90s in it. And that was like the perfect pickup for that guitar. The neck is still the Duncan, but... But this is one of, this is one of the guitars that's literally giving my Les Paul a run for its money. As in taking over that #1 slot, which I didn't think would ever happen. Especially not from a newer guitar. I'm always like, I don't know, the Les Paul's old, it's got that old mojo to it. This one's right there. It is right there looking at the Les Paul like, hey, I see you. Do you see me? Switch input jacks for this one. Yes. Yeah, I think some of you guys probably suspected this one would be on here. The 335. Now, this is by far the most drastically different guitar that I've gotten in a very long time. I guess the only downside of this guitar, I'll start with a negative, is I hate the input jack placement so much. But luckily, if you have a cable that has a 90 on it, you can just run with that. But so this is I think the most recent guitar that I've gotten. I got it a while back. Now, if you're not familiar with what this guitar is, I've done a couple of videos about it. This is a 1979 ES335 Pro, and the Pro is what initially confused me about it, and as I read up on what the Pro actually meant, I found out that this is the perfect 335 for me. So if you've ever wanted a more rockin' 335, I guess, I don't want to say that a normal 335 isn't rockin', because they rockin', they roll. But this one's just a little bit more. So I'll tell you what's a little bit special about it. So the pickups that come in this one are the Gibson Dirty Finger pickups. Now the Pro was only made for 3 years. It was made from 79 to 81. And like I said, these are very hot pickups. I believe they're around, the output's around 15 or 16, maybe 14, 15, 16, something in there. At the end of the day, a hot pickup, which is way hotter than what I typically like in a guitar. But these just sound so good with this guitar. And the other thing that is a little bit funky is the scale length. So if you're familiar with normal Gibson scale length, you have Fender or like Strat scale length of 25.5, or I guess Tele was first, but 25.5. Gibson's normally 24 3/4. Well, this is actually 24.5, slightly shorter scale, different neck shape than a normal 335. Like I said, this was intended more for the rock fusion community than the blues side of stuff. You can hear, man, this thing is a fire breather. This guitar really came alive for me when I did something to it. Like it always sounded great, but it had 10 gauge strings on it, and they were just a little bit too loose for me. But I was, again, kind of like with the Strat, a little bit worried of, like, but it sounds good as it is, do I need to change the strings? I'm like, whatever, I'm going to go to 11s, which I'd never put 11s on any guitar before. And this guitar it was like it woke up. It was really weird, but I could tell. I was talking to my buddy Sean Tubbs about this, and he was saying, like, he lets the guitarist tell him what gauge string needs to go on there. He doesn't, fill it with all the preconceived notions of, it's a Les Paul, I need to have these on it. He lets the guitar tell him. And I was like, man, what an idea. And the guitar told me right away. When I put 11s on this thing, so this has 11 to, I think 11 to 42, or 48, or maybe 1152, I can't remember. They're the Darios. I put them on here and snapped the high E string right away. The ball came unwound on it. It made a noticeable difference. I was like, wow, you know, I liked that. I liked how I could hit the strings, and you know, it just made it didn't make the strings go sharp because I picked pretty hard, and I find myself playing this one all the time, and it just inspires me from such a different place from the Strat or the Tele or the Les Pauls. It's its own thing, and it just, like I said, it just fills me with all this inspiration. So that's that one. I figured I'll just do 3 guitars. If you guys dig these, like I said, maybe I'll do more of these style of videos whenever, like I said, if these kind of like 3 change and I'm really digging on something else for a while, maybe I'll do another video where I'm just, you know, chatting, hanging out, talking about guitars. But other than that, I'm going to bounce on out of here, guys, and I'll play you a little riff, get the jam section going on. I'm a little bit out of it. I've been sick, so I'm out of practice shooting videos. I'm all rusty. But I will see you guys all next time. Until then, subscribe if you don't mind, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.